listen.
Well, good morning and happy Friday. Hey, to all you coffee breakers that's out here joining me today. My name is Senabella, for those of you who have not been introduced to me yet. And for those who know me, it's just a joy to see you again. And as always, it's a beautiful, beautiful Friday morning at 7 a.m. here on the Female Solutions Network. And I'm excited, as I always say, about living and doing the things that I'm blessed to do. And this morning, I'm happy to say that we have an exciting new guest on the show today. Her name is Toni Shelton, and there's so many wonderful and wild and crazy things that we're going to be talking about. She's just a phenomenal sister and a very dear person that I have known for quite a while. And it seems like everybody is someone I've known. But as you know, with relationships, you can know people and then you might know people, right? So during this this segment of Coffee Break with Senabella, we're going to be exploring all things Toni Shelton. But one of the other things that I want to talk about this is that I've just had like this super busy week. I went from Friday singing for Arbor Day over at Blacks and Green, and I was digging the dirt out and what have you and going through all that. And it was raining and crazy, so I got sick. And then I ended up at home. And then next thing I know, I'm like down for a few days. But then I was right back up and at it. And I got a call from this wonderful sister. Her name is Mary Swopes. And Mary, she decided to gift me with a recognition award called the Women of, wait a minute, I should have it here in front of me, but I don't. But it's Women with Purpose. And so she gave me a medal, and I was really quite pleased to be in the line with so many fabulous women who were selected for this honor. And I realized that I'm living at a time in my life when people are paying attention. And in paying attention, it means that it's giving you more work. It's giving you more insight about who you will become going forward or what you have been before you got to where you are, right? So real truth, man, let me tell you something. This is just the road, and that the one we endeavor, and we never can see in the beginning where we're going to end up. And that's going to be part of some of the things that we talk about today. So this weekend, we've got some great stuff going. Sherry Lynn Smith, a former guest of mine, she's coming tonight. We're going to be together, and she's having her presentation at the August House Studios. Presents Cherie Smith, aka Kareem Cherie, and it's entitled When I See, When I Hear, I Draw, Musical Muses and Others. And I'm very excited to say that I'm a part of that. I get to say that that I'm going to be included in this year's lineup of people that she has, and that this is going to be something that's historical. All of the big jazz magazines and the museums are picking it up. And myself and 9 other fabulous sisters who are singing jazz will be presented under Cherie's work. And it's going to be at the August House Studios. And let me see if I can move this out the way, because I got my banner sitting there and I'm going to take it out. And it's at 2113 West Roscoe Street in Chicago this evening, okay, Friday, May 2nd, from 6 to 9 p.m. It's free. And Cherie is like all things like super elegant, very creative and all that. So when you come, you can get ready for a great time. You can park, come into August House Studios and enjoy her work and see what the buzz is all about. So all you jazz heads and jazz aficionados and jazzsters, you all come on out. And all those who are just interested in seeing who are these women that Kareem Cherie has decided to give recognition to, and who is she, and what made it so important to her for her to do this kind of thing. So just getting back to, well, before I even get back to that, let me say this. My own daughter, my own child, that's right. You got to talk about yours, right? So let me remove that. And my own child is having her show coming up. And we're going to be talking about that a little later in it. I'll make sure I give that to you. She's a dynamic thespian, as she calls it. Her name is Nafisha Miller, and mostly everybody knows her, and they know her. It was a time when she said, Mom, everybody says that I look just like you. Now I say, everybody tells me that You look just like me. So she's the star. So speaking of stars, let's get going and let me take a moment to go and to pay tribute to those who made it possible for me to have this opportunity. Okay, let's go.
Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution.
And we're back. And so, as usual, on the mornings of Friday, I talk about singing my good, wake up feeling beautiful song. And I want to do it. And I'm going to pay tribute to Tony Shelton. Hey, Naima. Oh, how are you? Wonderful. It's good to see you. Hey there. Hey there, beautiful Naima. Oh, and Tracy, good morning. It's good to see you all. So look, I'm going to sing my song. And Tracy, I'm going to have you on here. You're going to sing my song for me too. Anyway, so let's go sing it, and let's just sing it and put the spirit of love and great opportunity to be alive, feeling beautiful. I want to wake up 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 feeling beautiful. Beautiful. I want to wake up with the joy in my heart and love in my eyes. I want to wake up feeling beautiful. I want to wake up feeling beautiful. Feel beautiful. 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 I want to wake up. I want to wake up. Yeah, yeah. I want to wake up feeling beautiful. Yes, yes. And so when you wake up feeling beautiful, you feel beautiful. Now, let me add to the stage this dynamic sister that I have coming in here today. This is somebody I really love and admire, have a soft place in my heart, as I said in the promo. And we share some really wonderful things in our early stages of coming to know each other. And so I've from afar watched her grow and move on to become such a dynamic human being. She was always that to me, but now she has been that to the world. And she started off being that to the world. Her story is amazing. And we're going to share some of that today. I want you to welcome to the stage, Tony Shelton. Hey, Tony.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. See, I sang my song.
I heard you. I want to wake up beautiful. I want to wake up.
Did you sure? I want to wake up. Because, that's the biggest part of the blessing, right?
Amen to that. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, I have this down as music legend, publicist, producer, entrepreneur, but it's so much more. And if you don't mind, I just want to kind of start off by reading some of the stats and having people to kind of know who you are. And I'm sure that many of the people who know you to some degree,
Right.
but I don't know who really takes the time to really read those things and kind of understand you from your situation, right? And your situation is what you create every day. It's your energy, your the result of who you are. And so I just want to read this. She says, Sin, I just did an interview in Sicily, in Italy, on house music and my life story. House music was my solace. It took me away from the pain and loneliness of not having parents, grandparents. I pushed myself harder and conquered whatever I set out to achieve. God leads my steps then and now. My babies are my moving force. I push them to follow their dreams. I'm sure I'm that little voice in their heads. And I think that's just so sweet and wonderful. That's what I want my kids. My kids probably are haunted by me.
Yes.
They always say, well, Mama, you said this, right?
Right.
Got a list of things they covered in the interview. And I don't know if we're going to be able to hit all these today, but dang. She says, I worked on the back of a garbage truck for the city of Chicago for 5 years in the 1990s. How many women will say that? I found my mother dead when I was 7 years old, and I have been on my own since I was 17. So let's just start there. Let's just start there. Go ahead, Tony. So how you feeling, baby?
I'm good. Just I wake up at 3 a.m. I'm happy. I do my best work at 3 in the morning, midnight. I do my best work. I'm good. I'm blessed. I have no complaints, sis. Every day it's a blessing just to wake up.
How did you why did you end up working for was it the city of Chicago that you became worked on the garbage truck?
Yes, it was the city of Chicago streets of sanitation. Yes. Yeah.
What was that like?
Really smelly, dirty,
Well, we kind of figured that part. It had to be.
maggots, snakes, name it. I've seen it all.
Wow. And
Yeah.
what part of the city were you collecting garbage?
Uh, well, they had me all over.
Mhm.
I was a floater, so I would just go wherever they needed me for the day. Mostly I worked in the fourth ward, and then they transferred me, so I was a floater.
Right.
Yeah.
So was that something that you consciously made a decision to do because you were trying to create income? Was it about being a mom? What was that all about?
You know what? I think I just wanted a better job. I only had one kid at the time, and I just got married. And I just filled out an application. I never thought I would get called, and they probably thought I was a guy. Who knows? But it
Because
happened, you know, and I enjoyed it. For the most part, I had fun at it. The guys would, well, I won't say that. They would let me drive sometimes and get on the back of the truck. And back then we didn't have carts. I had to pick up my own garbage can. There were no carts, so I had to carry my own load.
wow, that's quite a job. Now I hear
Yeah,
women who's firemen, right? I'm a firefighter. I'm like, what the hell, right? But I think I say it not because I think of it so much as a job for a man, but
yeah,
that means that you have this load of confidence that you can do something, right? And you're not thinking
absolutely.
you're a female. You look like there's a job. I can handle that, right?
I didn't know what it entailed totally, but I wasn't afraid of it, because I'm a little tomboy too. So, I like doing, different things. I wanted to do, be a firefighter too. That just didn't happen in this lifetime. So, you know,
You you want to be a firefighter too?
I did. I actually took the test for that too. I did.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
She's saying all that. So this chick right here wanted to be a firefighter.
I really did. That was, man, I've always wanted to be a firefighter. I actually got called, went to the training, and something happened. I don't remember back then. It was so long ago, but I stayed with streets of sanitation.
Well, let me just say this. I think you are just mighty, mighty. And I'm so proud to know you. But let's talk about the 7-year-old episode. How did that impact your decisions and who you would become? You're losing your mother at 7 and you finding her in that position.
Well,
And let me just ask first, too, also, did she die from natural causes?
well, they said she had a heart attack at 27. I didn't know much at 7.
Mm-hmm.
All I knew was, mom, she's not breathing. So me being a 7-year-old, I realized that she was gone. I think I probably put my head to her chest or something. I didn't know what else to do. We didn't have a telephone, and there was no cell phones back then. There was a telephone booth outside on like in front of the building. So it was probably a dime or 20 cent back then. I called my grandmother and she came over. I was, I guess, a kind of smart 7-year-old back then, so.
How much are you like your mother? Do you know
Um,
that you?
Sometimes I look on pictures and I think I look like her, but I think I probably look more like my dad. And I think my youngest and my oldest look like my mother.
Mhm.
I think they look more like my mom. And I think Imani, my youngest daughter, is built like her.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, I already know that body is your thing, but your daughter Imani is definitely, she's rocking the house. That's a good looking child.
Thank you.
You
Thank
put
you.
yourself out. Yes,
We're
yes.
all health conscious, and we all in sports work out, all four of us, all five of us, and I think they got it from me. They got
Well,
it honest.
definitely. I've always known you to work out.
Oh man, it's my life.
Yeah. I remember being in Hyde Park and us always going up and down the street, going places, doing things, and you flying in and out the city and doing stuff. So your life was in a forward when I had met you. And I
Right.
was with my kids in Hyde Park and you had yours. I think by the time you had two, you didn't
Oh yeah, I had only two.
right.
Yes.
You didn't have Imani and Carl then.
I did not.
Oh my God. But we were busy.
Oh my God. It was a lot of work with just two.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what I was thinking to have two more, but hey,
And you had the store on 53rd Street.
That was my first business, Tonay's.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember being over there working in there with you. I was like,
yes.
Store. I was just interested, really. I was like, look at this sister with this store on 53rd Street.
It wasn't too many Black stores on 53rd Street back then. There was Joe, who had the art gallery a block away. And then there was Daryl Tucker, who had his men clothing store. Wow. So it wasn't too many of us. Not many. Mm-mm.
You're saying a lot when you say those names.
Yeah. And then there was the African store on the corner, remember?
Absolutely.
Yep.
The African store is still there.
Yeah.
It's one of the few Black stores that remained on that strip.
Yep.
It was consistent.
Yes, for a minute. It had been there for a while. And it was, I don't know what made me say, well, you know what, I think I want to open up a store. I didn't know anything about opening up a store or getting the clothes or anything, but I'm always willing to learn, So
I remember going into the store and you had and I just started displaying stuff and straightening stuff. And it was just exciting to me. I'm like, this sister has a store. And to me, that meant a lot. And that's part of what was my allure with you, was to watch you do all these different things. And people were calling you Disco Tony. Look, my cat is like losing her mind. Go on.
I see that.
I'm like, girl, please, get on her.
She's on the other side.
Go. Look,
God, I see that. I'm like, what is going on over there?
When the toot went up in the air, it was time for it to be over. But anyway, and the son always says, get rid of the kids. I'm like, sometimes I just, want them to feel like they can get comfortable. But long story short, let me go back. I don't want to digress. Look, that part of your life, the house music was on the scene, and they were already calling you Disco Tony, right?
Yes.
And you were moving about. And at that time, I was telling Delise and I were talking about my last episode of Coffee Break about being models at Spiegel's. And I even took you down there, didn't I? I was trying to get all my
friends. You got me that job. Yeah, you got me that job. And
all my friends to have a job at Spiegel's.
Yeah, as a fit model. I was like, they want me, my body?
Yeah. And then they told you didn't have enough hips, remember?
Right. I was Still to this day, I don't have enough hips. So,
No, I think you're perfect. And Delise is too. And I did have the hips.
Oh my God. You had everything. You had the hips, the butt, you had it all. And still do today. I was just straight. I've never really had a butt, mix, dad was a white man, but it's okay. I had the legs though.
Yes, you did. You had everything else. Yeah. And you had the personality for everything that you were doing.
Oh, thank you.
Look, I just want to keep going because you did a house picnic across the street from the store. I remember that.
Yes.
Now, let me just ask, because I think I know the answer. Wasn't it the first?
First picnic I did? Probably the first one I did, yes.
Yeah, it was the house picnic. It was the first one.
I was always trying to do something for the community. I gave all the kids in the community a job. I let them come and write on the wall. I was always trying to help the community.
And not only that, but Hyde Park was a buzz. The hip hop situation was like blooming and just blossoming up everywhere. It was taking part of everything, and every artist, every creative way, right? There were young kids or young people were painting on garbage
Oh my
cans.
God, they were everywhere. They had art. They had did a portrait of me in the store. It was biggest portrait of me I've ever seen before in my life. And I just let them come in and do their thing, play the music. And,
Did
I
you?
had a hip hop store, not a house store, but a hip hop store.
But that was why. And I remember 50 Cent coming out and all of it. So everybody was starting to relate to hip hop and house.
Yes.
But house was having its own presence.
Oh yeah.
And
That
everybody
was my
was
other side.
and the north side was like just bumping with house music everywhere, right?
Mhm.
Like that's
Yes.
where you had to go and get into the house thing, right?
Well, I've been in house since I was 16. I've been doing these parties since I was 16 years old.
Wow.
House
And
music parties.
where?
Oh, they were all over. Oh my God. CODs. Oh my McClenda's. I rented so many places at 16. I don't even know why they gave me space at 16. I would go in there and make deals like I was running stuff.
Wow.
I rented at bars and I wasn't even old enough to be in a bar.
But I think it had to be your drive. People were like just getting out your way, right?
Yeah.
There to
You
take
know
it.
what? I was never afraid to do anything. It's still to this day, even, I'm going to go for it. What do I have to lose?
Right. But then you say here, my house music DJs in the 80s were Tony Hatchett,
Hmm.
Andre Hatchett, Keith Fobbs, and Wayne Williams. Now everybody know Wayne Williams.
They
Now,
worked for me first, baby.
I love it. So you sort of gave them the incentive to just get strong in their acumen, huh?
Well, we were all doing, we were all into house music, I mean, we all were just basically getting started. Nobody made songs or made music or invented house back then. We were all just young and just doing our thing. But those were my DJs back then. So I've known those guys since we were kids, so they worked for me. I didn't work for them. They
Listen
worked
to
for
you.
me.
And let me say this, that side of what you're showing now, because you're very clear now, right? And at that time, were you
Yes.
as clear, or you were like, let me just get this done? And if they were in there working for you, just knocking it out. Later, did you reconcile with the person you were to see what you had done, or were you clear about it at that moment?
I've always been clear about it. Nobody wants to give me credit for who I am, where I started, when I started, but I know who I am and I
I
know
think,
whose I am. I mean, I've never been unclear about who I am, what I've done, and
wow.
I'm very clear.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is so awesome. Look, I'm gonna take a break, but before I go, I just want to say people are talking and saying things. And I just want to say good morning to everybody. And Zenobia Renee L. Bay, she said she said, I grew up admiring the Black entrepreneurs of Hyde Park, you
Thank
know?
you.
And Zenobia, it's just good to see your face and to hear and to have you here in this room with us at this moment. Asada and I just talked about you the other day, Zenobia.
Oh,
So here is a room of people who in some part have memories of what was happening during that time and possibly watched you, talk to you, you ran with them here and there or not, but
yeah.
we were all very much a part of each other's lives, right?
Yes, indeed.
Yes, and that's really what it was about. Let me
Yes.
just take a real quick break and we're going to come right back.
Hi, I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms.
And in case you didn't notice the resemblance, we're also three sisters.
We're going to be coming to you every week, sharing our successes and our mistakes as we navigate our lives as moms, wives, sisters, daughters, and of course, Black women in today's world.
We'll talk about it all: race, politics, religion, economics, culture, and we'll take a look at everything from whether or not to use corporal punishment to how do you teach your children about sex.
Look for our upcoming book, Growing Up Charles. It's a personal story about our lives growing up in Maple Park on Chicago's South Side. I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Three Black Moms.
I just love that commercial every time they come on. It's just the whole idea of seeing your sisters on a show together with you. I just love that. I love it, love it. So, Tony, this is unmute your mic. I am trying to, but it's not unmuting. Okay, there we go. So, Tony, there's so much fodder here to go over. You said, I've owned 17 houses in my lifetime.
Yes.
Which I built from the ground up. And you had the first tiny house with it.
Yes.
Girl, the whole tiny house thing, I was watching it unfold. Like, yeah, I might do a tiny. So I don't know. Talk about the tiny house thing.
You know what? I used to always watch HGTV. I'm a designer. I've done all my friends' houses, apartments, and my own houses. And I used to watch the show with the tiny houses and something I've always wanted. So I said, you know what? I'm going to build me a tiny house. So I saw one of the designers on HGTV. I actually hunted him down, found him in Mississippi, called him and said, hey, I want you to build me a tiny house. And he didn't take me serious. He did not take me serious. He said, well, when you send a deposit, we can get started. No problem. Sent him $20,000 and he took me serious.
I guess so. And how much did it cost to build that tiny house with $20,000?
Well, I was only supposed to build it for like maybe $30,000. I went to $47,000. So, because I kept adding things. I designed it myself. I told him what I wanted, how I wanted it. Dark wood. I love, wood. And it was just a big house. And then I didn't think about where the hell I'm gonna park this house. That was 2016. Tiny houses wasn't out like that then. So it was hard trying to find a place to park it. But I did it. But eventually about 6-7 years later, I sold it, for $57,000. So
I remember setting it up for sale. I'm like,
yeah. I never got a chance to sleep in it. Carl did. It was on our property in North Hollywood. So he lived in it, and he got a chance to sleep in it every night. I never got a chance to sleep in my own tiny house. So, but
let me just ask the question. How did your life impact your children's lives? All the things you were doing, how did that impact your children? What drive did that give them? How did it motivate them?
Well, I mean, from birth, I was always including them in everything, my photo shoots. And when I would do parties, Jennifer and David, we didn't have iPhones and internet back then. So they would actually go out with me to pass out flyers at night. Mm-hmm. And then they would have to come to the parties and work. I only had 2 kids right back then. And they always saw me just getting and going. They never, it was always, I worked for myself. So, and I've been working for myself the last 30 plus years. So they've always seen me just do it. And they're doing it too on their own. They all been gone since 17. So they're just, very intelligent kids and just going out there doing their own things, in different cities, different countries. They're just doing their own things. And I'm proud of each one of them.
I tell everybody that we were different moms then because my kids also left home at that same age. Yeah. But that's because we were somewhat, in many ways, preparing them to go on and take on their lives, right?
Absolutely.
And so acted by a parent that is as robust as what we were as creatives, entrepreneurs, building and guiding our own paths.
Right.
Able to release and let go. And so motherhood was different than the way that it became with them, And absolutely. Interesting enough, Asada had a question up on Facebook, and she said, I never had and I'm not sure if I'm phrasing it right, but she spoke to not ever having someone make it so that she could be provided for and have to just chill and go, chill and lay back. Mm-hmm. And what was that like? She asked the question. Well, a lot of women start chiming in on it because they were talking about how great it was. And then there were women like, hey, as soon as I have it, I'll let you know.
Right.
Was your experience in part some of that as well? Or did you always solely kind of like trailblaze?
I think I always just trailblazed. I didn't have parents. I didn't have a grandmother. I didn't have anybody. So I had to find my way, make my way, and trial and error. I had to just do it and just take a chance on everything. There's nothing I don't know how to do. I did my own mortgages. I found my own houses. I wasn't a real estate agent. And they seen me go all the time and do things. And they have it now. They're all, doing their own thing in their own cities. And I've always had a drive. I didn't have anywhere to go back to. If I failed, I couldn't go back home. There was no home.
Oh,
So
that's right.
I had to keep pushing, keep, making things happen for myself and my children.
Mhm.
And they saw my drive, and they always saw me. I mean, I failed a lot of times, but then I succeeded more times than what I failed. So
Mhm.
I didn't have, you can't do this. That meant nothing to me. I could do anything I want to do. What are you talking about?
Well, I think also the late 80s and 90s were different as well because it opened the doors for sort of comfort. It wasn't a time when there was a lot of talk about racism,
Mhm.
right? And women were not thinking about what they couldn't do. They were just going to do it. There was a
Right.
comfort, a lot of fashion and a lot of creativity was going on, because
Right.
during our time, the men were buying real estate, the men were doing art, black men were venturing out, doing their
Right.
things. It became more, we had a robust community. And it could be that our perspective might have been a little different also because we were nestled in Hyde Park at that time too. So we had a chance to branch out a little bit more. We didn't
Yeah.
have I don't want to make it seem like people who lived in different areas didn't have it, but Hyde Park was a different spirit,
Right.
right? And coming from Bronzeville and South Shore and then into Hyde Park for me was a big deal. I knew I wanted my children to be safe, go to the
Yes.
best schools. And so those opportunities were there. And so that also then became more ripe with opportunities in your mind about what else.
Mhm.
So environment is extremely important.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then also, let me just say something about the men. At that time, the men were the drug dealers and the kingpins and so forth. And so if you had a guy, they were giving you money. They didn't treat you like some of these girls today. I hear them talk about that they don't have me. And I'm like, girl, are you kidding? I had like a list on the wall. I could choose who I wanted to date, who I wanted to.
We wasn't short on that list, men, I had a lot of guy friends, still to this day, I have a lot of good guy friends, but I mean, I have millions because I've been in this
Right.
industry for so long. So yeah, and I mean, I've only been married once, 11 years. So,
Well, that's pretty phenomenal in and of itself. I didn't know you were married 11 years. I knew you were married, but I didn't know 11 years. Look, I was lucky if I screeched into the 5th year.
yeah, we did it for 11 years. We tried.
But I did. Man, that's a testament to itself. So was your husband a supportive husband?
Well, he was in the military for about maybe 4 years, and we moved to San Diego. But I mean, he knew who I was coming into this, and we were young, we were just kids. I think I got married at 27.
Wow.
And he was like maybe 20, 24, 25. I don't remember, but we were young. We were kids, so.
Well, I just want to put this in here because I just kind of like need to see people to see this. It says overcoming adversity, exceptional, proud mother of 4 exceptional children, acclaimed house music producer, entrepreneur and innovator, legacy and community leadership, awards and recognitions, honored by Governor J.B. Pritzker with a proclamation recognizing your outstanding leadership advocacy and lifelong, contributions to Illinois. Your forward has been phenomenal. And I think that these are things that when we take a look at you and we talk about your road, so you've been a professional model as well, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
I didn't discover you, but I thought I discovered everybody. Let me just be real clear, because I was so oblivious to what everybody else was doing. As soon as I saw somebody say, hey, let's go do this, I thought I was introducing them something for the first time. So I didn't know I had introduced myself to the legend in the neighborhood.
Stop. I was dipping and dabbing in everything, modeling.
About you. My kids were crazy about you. And to this day, they just crazy about Tony Tony. Yeah.
Wow. I remember them as little, and it's so crazy that they're all grown now too. It's like, wow.
Yeah. That's the beauty of long, lifelong relationships. And many people who support me today are people a part of that legacy of who I am.
Yes.
And it's who we are, right? And so
Yes.
I've seen you travel and go all over the world doing things with your friends, your other friends, all your friends, or choices of friends that you go with. But I see that. And you have a lot of things going on. You've received a Diamond Award, right? I mean,
I've gotten so many awards. I can't keep up.
I don't know if I want to,
Yeah.
can I even, and the recognition with what you're doing currently. And I want to talk about it, but you got the white party thing that you do. I remember when I got the first invitation for the white party. I'm like, this girl's doing a white party.
It's been 17 years doing that party. 17 years.
Right. And people fly in from all over the world.
Oh, it's always a good time. Always a good time.
Mm-hmm. And I remember saying to you on the phone, we talked last night, I said, I did something and I got like 20,000 hits. And you said, girl, sometimes I have to come off. I have like 300,000. And I just said, let me shut the F up.
Yeah, it overwhelms me. I mean, I'm blessed and happy that people come on but yeah, sometimes it's overwhelming,
Mm-hmm.
it is,
What is it that you think that if you could do anything that you have not done yet, like right now, what would that be?
Wow. I feel like I've done everything. I think I would probably move to a small country somewhere and just live. I'm a loner. I don't have to be around a lot of people. I lived in LA 17 years. I'm a loner. I keep to myself. I don't have to be around a lot of people ever. I love the mountains, water. I would probably move back somewhere where I have peace and quiet.
Mm-hmm.
I take trips to the woods. My kids think I'm crazy. I rent a tiny house in the woods, stay for 10 days. I mean, I love that part of my life,
Mm-hmm.
I think I've done everything.
In your reflection at that time when you're in solace like that, what is the temperament of that? What's that like for you? I mean, can you speak to what your mind is saying, what your body is saying, what you're taking in? And when you leave, what are you saying to yourself as you leave?
I'm at peace and it's just quiet and I can think, and this is when I do my best work, and think of things I want to do, like the awards, the presidential awards, that came about me being somewhere by myself and just writing. I'm a writer. So I write everything down, and I'm a photographer, a videographer. So I'm always developing something, putting something together, always trying to figure out how I can help other people. I'm at peace. I'm at peace right now. I don't really want for anything. I've done a lot in my life, so I'm good. I'm good.
The other things we discussed is talked about abundance.
Seeing all these pictures, I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I know it's all you. It's all you though. It's all you. And this is just this is a thumbnail, because these are just little thumbnails because there were so many things to choose from. And I download about.
I know. I have millions.
I'm like, oh no, I'm not gonna do this.
Oh my God.
Get some marks.
I have millions of pictures. I mean, even in my home, pictures are everywhere. So
this just happened. So these are two of your latest things, the Legacy Awards, and then this.
Yes.
And Farley present you with this. He and Delise on stage present you with Disco Tony Shelton.
My brother, Farley, known him since I was a kid. Yeah, I was honored. Honestly, I was honored. I had no idea.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
No idea.
What did it make you reflect on at that moment? What was your reflection at that moment when you're on stage there getting that? What did it make you think?
That I actually did start off as a dancer. I wasn't a promoter first. I was a dancer. I'm not a dancer today, but it started off dancing. I was dancing my butt off when I was 15, 14, 16 at the warehouse. I was going to the warehouse since I was like 15 years old, and I've always was a dancer back then. And then I turned into a promoter about 16 years old, and I wanted to do parties.
Mm-hmm.
So it just made me go back to all those times when I was a kid, and just had a good time. We had fun. That was my getaway. House music took me there. It just.
So Zelda Robinson, who's also one of the sisters here on Female Solution, she says, love, love, love a sister who enjoys being alone, sitting in nature. That's one of the reasons why she rocks. That's what she said.
Thank you. I love my peace and quiet. My kids are gone. I don't have, 12 grandbabies. I wish I did, but, it's all good. I want them to live their lives, and maybe someday I will have another grandbaby, but maybe not. I don't know, Until then, I enjoy my life. I travel the world, and I do me.
Wow. So Vietta Robinson is on here, and she says, yes, living in a tiny house is so peaceful and simple. You develop more creativity. Been tiny for 10 years and written 3 books. Hallelujah. Okay, Vietta.
All right. Go, girl. I love it.
In your books, you're also an author.
I've written 4 books.
Yeah. And I remember when you wrote the first one, it might have been the second one, who knows? But I remember you mailed it to me, and I felt so special. Like, Tony is such a special person. Hey, sis, I'm sending you this. And at the time, I was in a house and living in Markham with my kids. And, and I'm like going, she is just always doing something. I think that our company becomes inspiration too, right? We're inspired by one another. Because
I would have been lost without you, girl. You took on something that was really special to me. You took that on for those 2 weeks, and I will never forget that as long as I live, what you did for me.
Are you talking about the babysitting?
2 weeks. You ran my store, you ran my children, you ran my house so that I could fly to New York, and because I won a contest. You ran everything for me for 2 weeks.
And can I be honest and tell you, I didn't even remember why you left.
I won a contest in Essence magazine.
Yeah, but all I knew is that the store needed to be watched. We didn't run from each other, and that our kids were like, it was easy. First of all, your kids were darlings. Jennifer and Carl. Easy.
It was Jennifer and David. Carl didn't come until 20 years later.
Jennifer and David was the finest young kid you ever saw, and he's still fine.
Wow.
This little boy was like the epitome of a little young 6-7-year-old Atlas. He just looked amazing. I was like, what the crap? What kid is born with muscle?
I know. That little boy will be, 40? I think 40 years old.
Is he?
And Jennifer, I think, will be, girl, I can't keep up. He's going to either be 39 or 40. Jenny's going to be 41 or 42. I can't keep up.
And Jennifer was a sweetheart too. Oh my God, your children were easy and beautiful.
Thank you.
I remember running and taking them to the house and cooking and coming back. And
you have to do everything. Take them to school. Open up a business.
Yeah, but I wasn't really thinking about it. And Mello used to come in the store. He says, "Oh, you in the store, huh?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm in the store."
Dave.
And I still had to go and model at Spiegel's and do all of that other stuff. But it was the makeup of being a woman, right?
Wow.
We understood and knew who we were, what we had to do, and we just did it. Sisterhood was vibrant. It was real.
I'll never forget that, sis. Yeah, I'll never forget that. I got a chance to meet Robert De Niro. I had dinner with Gregory Hines and his wife. It was so much, and that was a great opportunity for me. And I won a contest in Ebony and Essence magazine, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think that's the wow of it. I was so busy myself.
Yeah.
And thinking about what you needed to accomplish more than what we needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was no envy. There was no concerns. It was like, okay, and if you leave next time, just give me another day's notice. And we're good, And I didn't stop coming to the store after that. I still kept coming in.
No, we remain friends, and
I wasn't your employee. I was literally volunteering.
yes.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Thank you for that. Thank you so much for that. I'll never forget that.
Girl, thank you. It was awesome. I was learning so much because there is a skill set in volunteerism.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a heart set and this heartbeat that is created between people when they do things for one another.
Yes.
That community, the reliability, the knowing that you're doing the right thing and feeling like not exhausted about it. Because when you take on something and you feel exhausted, that means you didn't accept it properly.
Yes. You did it, girl. You ran my kids, my house, and my business. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad I had that little small opportunity to be a part of your life at that time. You're an amazing woman. Thank you. Like I said, there's so many things to say about you, but this picture right here was the one that I was like, wait a minute now. I need to go to her house.
What picture is this?
Straight up, lamb. Chilling. I'm like, what the crap? Like she is living it. And
that was me sitting on that tiny house that I built that I didn't ever get a chance to live in.
Girl, and I wish I had seen it. And today the tiny house would be like perfect for somebody to have. I mean, everyone is living small now, but not in most cases, not by choice.
Yes.
I mean, in China, they literally live in what would be a tiny house and 6 people would be in it. In spaces, sharing a bathroom, similar to what would have happened during the Great Black Migration when Blacks were moving in Chicago, living in Bronzeville and up to 50th Street, living together in houses and having one bathroom. You see that in movies and so forth. But it also speaks to how rich our communities are, right? Yes. And your doings speak to how rich we are, how resilient we are, how creative we are, how willing we are to pick up and put on our back and go do what we have to do and still maintain our responsibilities.
Yes. When you become a mother, everything else goes out the window. What you want, you got to think about these little people now. So it's a lot of work. Being a mother was one of the hardest jobs I've ever had. Been a single mom at that. So,
And I don't know if I ever thought about it like that. It was like you're doing what you got to do, and at the end of the day, that's what it's about. Parenting is not supposed to be a hardship.
It's not, but when you don't have support, like I said, I didn't have mom, grandma, I didn't have anybody. So just, every time I wanted to do something, I had to pay or take them with me, which was fine. I did what I had to do.
And you had the opportunity to do it. You were blessed to have the ability to pay somebody or with you, which a lot of parents don't have that. Yeah. True.
That's true. I worked hard all my life to just make sure they had everything. And I'm proud of them. My daughters have degrees. I'm proud of both of them. And my sons are doing what they love, Well,
Don Video, the artiste, says he loves him some Tony Shelton.
He's my producer for my documentary.
Oh, I love that. Okay. Yeah, so you get the documentary together. Hey, Shelton, my guy. I love you too, guy. Yeah. It's look at all the people coming in this room because I just said your name. People I know, but you know. He said, ask her about her documentary she's working on. Well, we're trying to. Now that
He's
I
the
know.
producer.
I love Don. Take care of this, Don. Look out for your work in hers too. I ain't mad at you. Talk about your documentary. What do you hope to provide as a viewpoint for people?
Well, we're talking about house music. And I have about maybe 30 people that I grew up with in the documentary talking about house music and talking about me, how it started, how I started, all about the music, house music. And it's mainly about house music and my start and how I began, and all these people are talking about me. So it's kind of weird, to have all these people who know you from a child talking about you and what you've done for the community. So I'm excited about it. We're shooting a trailer this weekend. So I'm excited.
So, you have to invite me to set so I can see what's up.
Absolutely. Girl, please. Yes. You and my babies.
I know. Oh, I love that. I get to see kids. That would be great. Look,
Absolutely.
I'm going to take a break and come right back before we close out and just keep on talking. We're in the house with Tony Shelton, house music legend. And these are just a few of the titles that she owns as a thriving Black woman here in the Americas and doing her thing and representing so many different idioms of, say, creativity is what I'll say. But until we get to that, let me see what I can find for us that I think would be a great kind of like move on the next piece, right? So it's just like, here I am.
Is Monday morning a struggle to get out of bed into the swing of things? Well, don't worry, you are not alone. Join us for thought-provoking, stimulating, and mindful conversations on higher learning with Zelda Speaks for your Monday morning mindfulness sessions on Blog Talk Radio, The Female Solution, Mondays, 7 until 9 a.m. Be sure and send your ideas, thoughts, comments, and suggestions. Also, if you'd like to be a guest on the show, visit zeldaspeaks.com and send us your info. We'd love to have you. Experience mindfulness moments with the mindfulness/stress relief coach, Zelda Speaks. And thanks for sharing the mindfulness moment tip of the day. Stay on purpose, stay empowered, and stay tuned to your next session of mindfulness on higher learning with Zelda Speaks. Make it a mindful day. And thanks for listening.
Yeah, so we're back with Tony Shelton, and man, you just got a lot going on, sis. A lot. So can you unmute her mic, please, Asada, because it's not unmuting for me on this end. Can you? Yeah. Can you hear me, Tony?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Oh, good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm like, I don't know why my. Okay, he said Teresa Griffin's in your video too.
Yes, she is. I love her. Yes, she is in. It's called The Queen of House. Okay. Tony Shelton. That's the name of the documentary.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, people did talk. Wait a minute, where is it at? He said Tony Shelton says they need to be in that video too. Everybody, well, we all want to be in it, Shelton Fly Guy. I want to be in it too, even if I'm just standing on the corner with our kids holding their hands,
Come out this weekend. We're shooting a trailer. Come out. I'll call you. I'll talk to you.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing. It just talks to the hugeness of house music, how it monopolized the city of Chicago in particular, right? And it was played all over the world, but specifically over in Europe, it was a rave, right? It was a rave.
Oh my God, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Talk about that a little bit.
You know what's funny? My son Carl is about to get married, and she's from Europe. Mm-hmm. She's French, and when I met her last year at my all-white party, she said to me, "I already know who you are. My dad remember you when you all were kids, and they live in Europe." He said, "Yeah, I know who Disco Tony is." And I was like, what? What? Her dad knew who I was then. So when, she met me, she said, "I know who you are already," because my father grew up with, not with you, but he was on the house music scene. So I'm like, they're in Europe. I'm here in Chicago. And he knew who I was. And I was shocked. So that's my new daughter-in-law to be soon.
That's your new daughter-in-law to be soon. You're about to have another child married. So is that all four or is that all three? No, it's three.
I have Carl is about to get married, and Jennifer and David are married, and Imani is single for now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And why don't you talk about your kids a little bit about what they do?
Jennifer works in fibers. She's always been in designing, working for the big designers, and now she's working with fibers, how you make the material and the clothing. So she's been doing that over 10 years, and she's in Brooklyn. She's my oldest. And David.
She works with a lot of big designers, right?
Oh, big. She's worked with every major designer, every store, she works with them. And she has an office in Manhattan. Very proud of her.
I saw that she was designing a gym shoe.
And she did a gym shoe. I forgot. They do so much. I can't keep up.
Well, when I see it, I just put it in a file in my brain. I said, okay.
Yes, she designed a gym shoe for a major shoe designer. I was so proud of her. And I'm like, oh my God, they're all artistic. All my kids are.
And then David is looking like an atlas, ends up being what? He turns into, that's his whole profession now, right?
Who, Carl or David?
David,
he's he trains celebrities in Hollywood.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, he works with everybody. Eric Benet, name it. It's so many of them. I can't keep up. He trains celebrities in Hollywood. And then he also helped me take care of my brother, John, who lives with him in Los Angeles.
What a blessing. David was always a phenomenal spirit to be around. I really, really love your son, David. I know.
Yeah.
He was
David, right?
Yes, just a beautiful spirit and easy and not quick to speak.
I think he's the most like me. He has my traits: go getter, make it happen type spirit. Real estate, parties. He's more like me. David is, and they say he looked more like me too. So
he's a model and all that. Yeah, I know. I remember. Yeah,
and Carl. He didn't want to model. Carl never wanted to model. He never wanted to be in the industry. Carl never wanted to do any of this. All he wanted to do was skateboard. That's all he ever wanted to do. So,
but he ends up becoming the skateboarder.
Well, he had graduated from high school. He was the only one at home for 7 years. After everybody's gone, it was just me and him. And I'm like, well, dude, what are you going to do? He's like, Mom, I'm going to become a pro skateboarder. I said, well, Debbie, you better get started right away. I never thought he would actually become a pro skateboarder. He said, that's what I'm going to do.
But then he does, because we ran out of time. I want to make sure we get the kids in. But then he does, and he gets recognized.
Oh, my God. He's with Adidas, Chocolate, and about 20 other companies.
And then he gets a skateboard, and he puts his mom, a picture of you.
2 skateboards, T-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, everything. He put his mom. I didn't know. It was a surprise. I had no idea. And then my baby girl, Imani. I'm sorry, go on.
Then he gets picked up by Pharrell and he walks.
Oh, yeah. He just did a commercial with Pharrell for Champagne. He just did a commercial, and Pharrell put him in 4 runway shows and put him first. Tokyo, Hong Kong. Oh, my God. He put him first.
He did the Louis Vuitton show. That's what we saw.
Did it 4 times. Yes.
And what a fine young man. I mean, as in like physically fine. And then let me race to this. And then Imani. Oh my God.
Imani, my baby girl. She got a degree in sociology. She's written 5 books. One of the smartest women I know on earth. That little girl is a gem. And she's 5'9". She models. She's cold. She's good.
So, ladies and gentlemen, brothers, sisters, and all you just curious people, this is the dynamic female woman, sister, friend, housepreneur, Tony Shelton. It's been just the pleasure of my life to have you here this morning. I absolutely love you. I will see you soon. We'll talk after this.
Yes.
But I just want you all to continue to just show love to this sister and look out for her. And let's make sure I'm sure it's already going to be a hit when you do your documentary. And Asada has the biggest book fair here in Chicago, the Soulful Chicago Book Fair. You got to talk to her, go back and talk to her, and be part of that extravaganza. It's a dynamic weekend of things that she does for Black book writers. Yeah, just dynamic. And I mean, it's huge.
Okay.
I could keep going on because as I start talking about people, my head starts opening up like a library, thinking about like, where are they on the stage?
Poor thing, you poor thing.
I can't help it. It's why I'm blessed to be here at Coffee Break with Senabella, and I'm blessed to have any and all of you here with me. Thank you so much for coming in today, loving on Tony and showing me love. Hey, have a great weekend for those of you that can. On May 11th, on the 9th through the 11th, my daughter Nafisha is in Girlfriends. I'm going to put it up on my page. You'll see it. And then, of course, tonight I'll be with Sherry Lynn Smith at the August House Gallery, where the exhibitions, I'm one of 10 with the muses of the musical muses of Sherry Lynn Smith, a jazz portraitures of the top 10 that she saw, that she loved, that she drew. So I'll see you soon. I'll put all that information on my page. Anybody who wants it. Tony, I love you to life. See you soon. God bless everybody. Have a great weekend.